All right, welcome back, everybody. Now that we've done all these configuring and all this stuff, how do you monitor your network? Well, Cisco wants you to learn two different things. One, how to use syslog, at least for the CSANT, and we'll be doing that, okay? And then using the CDP or the LLDP, Cisco Discovery Protocol, and the LDP, which is the Link Layer Data Protocol. The difference is pretty much they're both the same. This is not vendor specific, where this one was. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. Very simple to do. Let's open up the packet tracer. Computer's going crazy. All right, so I have a little lab here. All right, we have already the routing protocol RIP running. We have connectivity going across. And what we're going to do on this server, why do I have that server? Because we have the syslog right here. And it's going to go ahead and start getting messages. But how does it do that? Well, I prepared this notepad for you guys so you know what you will need to configure on the router. I'll put the router way over here. Okay. So there is your notepad right there. So default settings, they're already there, but you can type them in. It's not going to kill anything. Okay. And we'll go through all these different settings. So you can see now, obviously, this is the important one right here. Where you're going to log things to, obviously, is going to be to the 2.1 server. That is your syslog server. All right, the 192.168.2.1. All right, and you can do a service timestamp that logs the date and time in milliseconds if you want to, or you can get rid of it by putting no in front. But this right here, logging trap messages, okay? And I have is that when you're logging trap messages, you don't go above 4. And it's going to copy all this. You can get your hands full with a lot of information, okay? But the packet tracer only does debugging. So just to see how it works, so this is the trap. Here's the command. Let's get the, what we'll do is here, so I know where I'm at, where I don't, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and start typing in the commands. And again, the first command we're gonna type is what you see there by default, which is logging, all right, and then console, all right, and that's on by default. You don't wanna really turn that off. And you can do a logging buffered, okay, and you can actually select, you know, the size of the buffer that you want. And let me bring that up. Okay, you can decide how big you want. You can just leave it the default right there. Okay, now where are we going to log all this stuff? Well, to our server, logging. All right, and our server is 192.168.2.1. That's where we're logging things to. And we do want to log the service, and we'll do it by steps. We'll question mark our way through. How about that? Service, there's different options you can do right there. We're going to do timestamps. All right, and then what do you want to do? I want to log, all right, date and time, and question mark again, in milliseconds. All right, so there it is right there. So we give it the IP address of where we want to log to, and now you see that we're going to go ahead and do the timestamps log with date and time in milliseconds. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do the logging trap. And remember, by default, or not by default, the recommendation is 4. We're going to do logging, oops, too many O's, logging trap messages, right? And unfortunately, we can only do debugging, which is 7, all right? But again, just to see what we're doing. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm spelling it right here. Let me do enter. And that's it. That's all you type in there. Okay, so you can do sequence numbers if you wanted to. You can get rid of the timestamp and do sequence number. That's not really what we're trying to do here anyway. And what you're going to do now is you're going to exit, and you can see that since we're doing the console, there's that logging that's going on, right? On port 514, logging host, start, stop, blah, blah. So you're getting messages now, Okay, you're getting messages. So what we're going to do is, because it's the RIP writing protocol that we're running, and we're actually, the trap is that we have is for debugging, we're going to do a debug IP RIP. And then that is on. Do WR. Well, just WR or copy run start for you guys in the certification. So let's bring the lab back up. Let's maximize that. Bring the server out so you guys can see that right there. And then we should start seeing messages coming through. And there it is right there. Okay, you start seeing, hey, we're getting updates. And that's what we're doing, because we're debugging RIP. You can do a debug all, but packages don't let you. But you can see that you're receiving updates from, and you're sending RIP version 2 from. These are the updates, which is obviously every 30 seconds, and the host name or who's sending these messages and things like that. So that is syslog, and really can be any device that you can do this to. You can manage any device with syslog or SNMP, NetFlow. These are all services, TCP/IP services or IP services that Cisco wants you to know. They just separated it now and just kept the syslog in the CSAN. But remember, you're not going to be really doing this like this. You're going to be using third-party software. That's going to be nice bar graph, pie charts, all these line charts, and all these little different things for you to look at. Very colorful, so you understand what it is that you're looking at. Obviously, you're going to have text information like IP addresses and so forth and host names, but you're going to say, hey, this is too much, this is too little, whatever. Okay, so you're going to have third-party software to do this. But that is what the syslog does. Now, the Cdp and Lldp. Now, Cdp, we know we look at our neighbors, inter-networking neighbors, not our PCs. All right, so we go to this router. Let's go to this router right here. And we'll do that right there. We'll just keep it here. All right. We should know Cdp already. Show Cdp neighbor. And you see that, you see the neighbor, your neighbor, that you're directly connected to. Let me enter that so you can have it up here. So the device that I'm looking at is R2. Its local interface is F01. It's going to hold the information for that long. What is it that I'm looking at? A router. What type of router? An 1841. And I'm learning it on that interface that he's sending me the information from. All right, so that's Cdp. And you also have the show Cdp Neighbor Detail. I put DE for short. And it gives you layer 3 information. Now you know the IP address. This is very important, especially for simulation purposes. Okay, you got the layer 3 information. When you do the detail, well, Lldp, okay, is pretty much the same thing. Show Lldp neighbors. Lldp is not enabled. Okay, config T, Lldp run. Now that's on. So I'm going to guess that it's not on the other router either. So let's turn it on the other router so we don't have no problems. And let's turn no debug IP RIP. All right, we'll turn that off. And then we'll go to config T and we'll do Lldp run. So we make sure that that's running. All right, so we'll go back to this router here, Control C. All right, let's get rid of that gibberish and we'll do show Lldp neighbor. And again, all right, it may take a little time for it to populate. There we go. No. I'm not seeing anything right now. We should be seeing it. Let's see if it's enabled on the interface. Config T, interface. They're both F01s, I believe. Yes. F0/1. Lldp transmit. Lldp receive. See, with Cdp, all you have to do is just enable it. But okay. So let's go into this router, do the same thing. Interface F0/E. Oops. Receive. Lldp transmit. DWR. All right, let's go back to router 1. Let's see if he wants to do it this time. Control Z, show LDP neighbors. It's taking a little bit, but essentially it's going to do the same thing. It's going to do the same exact thing. I'll reload this right while I reload. I'll just talk to you this real quick. LDP is the same exact thing as CDP. May show you a little bit of different information, a little bit more information. But the reason that they're now using LDP, because since it's a link layer data protocol, it can go across any vendor. It's not vendor specific. Okay. All right. It's just because now it'll show a switch as a bridge, and I'll show you there. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see if this one will do it. Show LDP neighbors. Okay, it's just being whatever, no problem. All right, so what it'll do is, and let me open it up, and it'll be the same thing as if it was neighbor detail, because it does the same thing. If you were to do DE, it will give you numbers. I don't know why it is not showing any locally connected neighbors, but here, the capabilities, it'll show you a bridge instead of a switch. Okay, if it's a router, it's going to be an R. Or if it's telephone. These are the different things that it'll use, where CDP was other things. But they're identical. They're identical in the sense that they're showing you your directly connected neighbors so you can map out your particular network. That's all. And it's the same command. Instead of doing show CDP neighbor, you do show LLDP neighbors. All right. And just make sure that it's on. That it's on. And you see this, you saw that if you go to global configuration, you enable or you run the protocol. And then you do a transmit and receive both on the actual interface, because if you go again, let me do global again because it's bothering me. All right, LDP, yeah, run, and I already did that, and it's just being whatever. So okay, it's just we'll blame packet tracer for it, okay, because we do have connectivity across. But that is monitoring your network. But in reality, what you're going to do, like I said before, yes, this is nice, but in any enterprise or mid-sized networks, all right, you're going to have third-party software that's going to monitor all this traffic and everything that's going on your network, okay? All right, with that said, I'll see you in the next.